He didn't say one.
One. Hello and welcome to Cabin Fever Radio. No bells.
Whoa. Say what?
Season number 4, where an isolated group of talented actors and creators come together to stave off their madness, as we all need it, and yours, and keep us all entertained through dramatic readings of your favorite movies and TV shows, along with original material. This episode is sponsored by Vengeance Turns the Motion Picture. What started out as an original Cabin Fever Radio show and podcast turned motion picture. What? But we'll hear more about that later in the show. I am your host for the evening, Mr. David Ruano. Rob said I should do that every time. And this season, we are focused on a series of feature-length films that have, in one way or another, inspired parts of Vengeance Turns the Motion Picture. And joining us for today's reading is Bobby Smith,
also known as Crunchy Toast Man.
Rob Fury.
What is up, my friends? Rob Fury here. Let's get it on.
And I am El Mr. David Ruano. And today's story is, if you can't tell by people's backgrounds, especially mine,
then you don't know.
It's Jaws. Da-dum, 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 da-da-da. Directed by Steven Spielberg, one of my favorite movies to watch, especially when it's hot out, because, you know, it's the middle of the summer when they film that. And as always, be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to Cabin Fever Radio on all social medias. The links will be in the description below, so you can stay up to date with our various shows and podcasts, especially Vengeance Turns the Motion Picture. And remember that you can always chat with us live, and we would love to interact with you guys. And if you're watching or listening to this afterwards, please comment,
Give us money.
your thoughts, and let us know what you think. And as a quick little side note, we are doing a raffle during the live stream.
It's a raffle.
So remember, we are giving out some Vengeance Turns merchandise. And the easy way to come into the raffle is by taking a photo or a screenshot of the live stream showing all our beautiful faces, post it on your Instagram, and tag Cabin Fever Radio.
Tell your friends, because
Tell your friends.
We won't give anything away until we reach 100 entries, even if it takes all week until next week. We're going to let it run and run and run. Entries.
Oh, I was like,
entries.
I don't want to get injured.
I guess.
Or entrails.
Oh my goodness!
Hello, Cass. As well as welcome.
We got it working!
Cass, yes!
Oh, we were ready.
Wait,
We had you covered. Yeah.
Hold on, David. Why does Cass
landing.
get the hello, like, welcome, but when you introduced us, you're like, hi, it's Rob.
She knows how to make an entrance, man.
Dang, no, that's wrong, man.
Well, more than anything, that and
Bobby and Rob are desperate for attention. They show up 15 minutes early, you know, like little guppies, like swimming around looking for attention by. Cass like, whatever, I'll be there.
Not my fault. Promise.
Not your-
I was
yeah,
here
how
on
you say
time.
she was like texting me, like, why isn't the internet working?
Internet.
Oh, see, she's freezing.
Yes.
And,
Oh.
I'm here for the whole thing because
You are doing a little bit of a robot dance, just letting you know, but you're good. And there she goes.
It's like
Very.
you're swimming in slow motion.
It's going to be very interesting today.
Which is the best part about live streaming, that sometimes internet sucks.
Have no fear. I love that sound. It sounds like somebody going crazy on an auto tune, you know?
It sounds like if Darth Vader was an autotune.
Yeah.
No. If
I don't
you
use autotune in my music.
good. Wait, good?
You're
Yes.
back. You're back. She's
You're
back.
back.
She's
Yes.
moving in fluid. She's fluid.
Yes.
She's out of the pudding, out of the internet sludge.
If anything, just in case, Cass, if you want to turn off your video so just your audio can go through, that might make it easier for us to listen to you.
You just won't see
If you want to try that.
Oh, that's hurtful. You don't want to see my face?
Oh, we
Well,
do.
I do. Of course I do. But at the
Oh,
same
you thought you meant the other
time,
way around.
I've got that single movie star tier.
Ladies and gentlemen,
but we
the
want to
Academy
listen
Award
to
for
your
the single
voice.
tier in podcast goes to Cassandra Binding. Ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I'm going bye-bye now.
For the face for now. We'll see if that works. But again, as always, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Can you still hear us, Cassandra? Just wanted to make sure.
I hear ya.
I hear her.
Aha.
Yeah.
I
You sound
hear you a
fantastic.
lot better.
I can't see her, but she is the wind beneath my wings. I can hear her now.
Aw.
Yes.
So
So
the wind beneath your wings was your gas.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah,
Is that
it's-
what
it's-
that is?
It's
Yes.
like from a Mexican, like yeah, I'm
It
pretty
felt
sure
more
that-
like Cass. It felt more like Cass.
Oh, I see what you did. You made it funny. You made it funny. What did you say? What you were saying, David, about being Mexican and gas?
Well, we eat beans a lot. We know about gas.
I don't even know if that's a racist joke or
No, it's a
just,
cultural joke
is that a
because it's
culture?
true.
He's like, I eat beans, damn it.
Yeah, what's wrong with eating beans? Is there something wrong with eating beans?
The more you eat, the more you toot.
Yeah, it's healthy. It goes right
Yeah.
through you in a good way. But again, we are live. This is the best part about what we do doing these shows, and we hope you enjoy it. Again, like, subscribe, follow, click
Yes.
buttons, all description, all that fun stuff. If we're ready to go, let's try to see what we can do with Jaws.
Yeah. Oh, real quick, David. By the way, if the people that are watching this right now enjoy this hilarious improvised banter, just sneak peek coming soon. There will be an improv comedy. Oh no, that's all you're hearing.
We'll
Oh,
sneak
no,
you more.
But it's gonna be improv. That's all you get. Improv.
We'll
comedy.
improv. We'll
You
improv
got my heart
another
beating.
another little spot in there later.
Uh-oh.
You got my heart pumping.
The beat of my heart,
The
baby.
beep. We'll hear a little bit more about that possibly during the
Possibly.
intermission. What?
Maybe I don't know who what.
But in the meantime, let's read Jaws.
Ow.
And as always, you are listening to Cabin Fever Radio.
Jaws. Over black. Sounds of the inner spaces rushing forward, then a splinter of blue light in the center of the picture. It breaks wide, showing the top and bottom of a silhouetted curtain of razor-sharp teeth, suggesting that we are inside of a tremendous gullet. Looking out at the onrushing undersea world at night, we hear a symphony of underwater sounds, landslide, metabolic sounds, the rare and secret noises that certain undersea species share only with each other. We cut to, it's the exterior of a lighthouse. It's night. Caught in its blinding flash, the light moves on, fingering the fog. A lone buoy dongs somewhere out at the sea. It's the exterior now of the Amity Main Street. It's still night. The quaint little resort town is quiet. In the middle of the night, the ground fog rounds a corner, begins spreading toward us. It fills over sidewalks and streets like some kind of biblical plague. Another exterior shot is the south shore of Long Island night. It's a pleasant, moonlit, windless night in mid-June. We see a long, straight stretch of white beach. Behind the low dunes are the dark shapes of the large, expensive houses. The fog that has reached Amity proper is seen only as a low-hanging cloud that is pushing in from the sea. We hear a number of voices singing. It sounds like Eastern University's alma mater. From another angle, the beach, we see a bonfire is blazing. Gathered around it are about a dozen young men and women who are merrily trading fight songs from their different universities. Two young people break away from the circle. Chrissy almost pulling a drunk and disorderly Tom Cassidy behind her. And now we see a close-up on this guy Cassidy. He makes a clumsy try at kissing Christina, but she just laughs and she ducks away. Now, At another part of the beach, we see the fire. It's about 100 yards off in the background, and the silhouettes of Christy running up a steep dune. Once there, she pauses to look at the ocean that we can only hear. Cassidy plods up the dune behind her, grossly out of shape. I know the feeling. Chrissy runs down a few steps, leaving Tom Cassidy reeling on the summit. Chrissy's dress, her bra, and panties fly toward Tom, who can't make a fist to catch them. The dress drapes over one half of his head. Soggily aroused, Cassidy struggles to get his shoe off. But Chrissy is already in full flight toward the shore. In she goes, a delicate splash surfacing in a cold ocean that is unusually placid. Chrissy pulls with her arms, drawing herself into deeper water. And that's when we see it. It's first just kind of a gentle bulge in the water. It's like a ripple that passes her a dozen feet away. A wave of pressure lifts her up and eases her down again. Her face shows the beginning of fear. Maybe it's just Tom. She smiles and looks around for him. Then her eyes go to the beach where Tom, too drunk to stand, one pant leg off, is still struggling with his other shoe. Chrissy turns and starts for shore. And now we have a close-up of Chrissy. Her expression freezes. That water lump is racing for her. It bolts her upright out of the water to her hips and then slams her hard, whipping her in an upward arc of 8 feet before she is jerked down to her open mouth. Another jolt to her floating hair. One hand claws the air, fingers trying to breathe. Then it, too, is sucked below in a final and terrible jerking motion. We hold on this churning froth of a baby whirlpool until we're sure it's over. We angle back around on that guy Cassidy. He's still in his undershorts laughing, turning in slow stone circles. And he's a prisoner in his own orange windbreaker that seems to have gotten him into like a full Nelson. He stumbles to his knees. Now we'll cut to the interior Martin Brody's bedroom. It's dawn. We hear an alarm clock radio going off. It's giving the weather bulletin, marina weather, westerly winds. There's a light chop, all that. A pair of bumps under the bed sheets. There's a rustling and 2 stockinged feet swinging up and settle heavily on the floor. We follow them as they pad along from the hardwood floor to the bathroom tile. A light pops on and the feet arrive at a scale. Board it. We see that scale. Kind of a blur as it spins and lands like 191. And then as if by magic, the numbers float backwards down to like 160. We angle on Martin Brody at 42. Martina Brody at 42. She stands lifting herself from the sink countertop with both hands. Satisfied, she turns toward the mirror, squinting in the light, measuring herself up and down. Advancing waistline, receding hairline, gray around the ears. Martina Brody is rough, making another promise to get her act together tomorrow. She reaches for the sliding mirror and opens the medicine cabinet. There's a travel brochure of Arizona attached to the shelf. Brody shakes her head and removes it. She closes the mirror, which now reflects her husband, Alan Brody, pert and poised off to one side.
Martina, aren't you tired of Maine lobster, Long Island duckling, and Ipswich clams? Just once, couldn't we get a Big Mac at the bottom of the Grand Canyon this summer?
Martina.
Look at me. I'm not even awake.
You've had no time off in 2 years, Martina.
Living here is time off. Brody opens the shower door to turn on the water. Alan has scotch taped a travel folder for exotic Mazatlan, Mexico on the shower head. Now it's the interior of the Brody bedroom morning. Martina is getting dressed after her shower. Alan stands by the curtained window. Larry Vaughn says we'll pull a record season.
Alan, we're collecting high enough rentals to cover the mortgage payments for all 3 of our beachfront investments.
You know where we can invest in a Indian Chief motorhome for the whole of August? Drop it off in Aspen, Colorado, and jet back to Boston by Labor Day.
Alan pulls from behind his back 3 brochures of trailer home rentals.
Look, Ellie, let's just
play it by ear.
And he turns to the open curtain. Sunlight and oceans pour in.
Another shitty day in paradise.
The sunlight catches Brody's police chief badge as she slips on her shirt, and we discover why she can't go anywhere. Brody ripping open a 25-pound bag of kennel ration as 5 hungry mutts somersault around her feet. The telephone rings, and Brody one-hands it as she attempts to sew all 5 doggy bowls with missed double helpings. Morning, Hendrix. What's that? She listens, sours, and takes a breath. First goddamn weekend of the summer. Great start. Nope. Take him back to the beach. Maybe she washed in. Exterior, Island Highway morning. Martina Brody's country squire police wagon rushes past, taking the view to an enormous billboard depicting a typical summer day in Amity. Beautiful model splashes in the golden surf, languishing in a solar cane sun. Amity welcomes you is written above her flailing arms. Now it's an exterior shot of the Amity Beach day. 3 small figures in the landscape walking on the beach. The surf is rough, and there's the seafloor debris strewn about from the receding tide. We get a closer angle. Deputy Hendricks is searching the shore about 100 yards downwind. Meanwhile, Brody in her casual police attire and Tom Cassidy, still in the clothing we saw him in last night, poke around the smoking ashes of the bonfire. Brody fingers the missing girl's shoes, purse, and clothes. In the daylight, Cassidy looks like a junior in high school and misconducts himself, wavering between inflated maturity and tear-blown adolescence.
Christine, what?
Where's he? Washington? No one ever died on me before.
You picked her up on the ferry.
I don't know her.
And nobody else saw her in the water.
Somebody could have, because I was sort of passed out.
Sounds to me like maybe she ran out on you.
Oh, no, sir. I've never had a woman do that. I'm sure she drowned.
A shrill whistle makes them turn. Hendricks is 50 yards away on his knees. He blows again, a feeble report this time.
We may know in a minute.
Brody runs towards Hendricks. Cassidy hesitates, but then follows.
You can't make me look.
There's a master angle here, this big sand dune. A skein of seaweed garnishes the base of this isolated dune. The booming waves and the fizzing surf make dialogue just inaudible. Can't hear a thing. Deputy Hendricks on hands and knees, looking white as a sheet. Brody tells Cassidy to wait at the foot of the dune and ventures up. Hendricks stops her with a wave off, saying something at the same time. Brody nods, understanding, and steps up cautiously. She looks down. Whatever she sees has a marked effect on her entire physique. Kicking out with her foot, Brody sends dozens of angry horseshoe crabs in an escape frenzy, and they boil over the top of the dune and down its slopes. Cassidy takes a few uneasy steps backwards when Brody waves him over. He shakes his head. He's not going. It's like an awkward moment. Then Cassidy shuffles forward, up the few remaining feet, his eyes looking in everywhere but down. Brody says something else, and Cassidy shakes his head again, eyes out at sea. Brody puts her hand gently on the quaking man's shoulder. Nodding, he starts to look down, an inch at a time. He looks. The jolt that assaults Cassidy, it's not unexpected. He falls backward in a sitting position as though shot. He nods, yes, that's her. Brody turns, slides off the dune, stumbling close. We hear her breathing. She looks around, envisioning the week ahead of her. Now it's the interior of her office, Chief Brody's office during the daytime. She walks through the door and enters her office, holding a fizzing glass of Alka-Seltzer. Polly, her 61-year-old secretary, follows close on her heels with her shorthand pad of messages and reminders. In the outer office, Hendricks and Cassidy slump into chairs, sipping from fizzing Dixie cups. Brody sits behind the typewriter, only to find that somebody has placed a travel folder to sunny Scottsdale, Arizona, Between the rolls of her Smith Corona, she sighs, and she replaces the colorful brochure with the grim accident report. As she types, Polly reads her calendar to her, undaunted by Brody's heavy malaise.
This is in no order of importance, Chief. There's a meeting on Enemy Town Council on Aging this Monday night, Bencourt Hall. The fire inspector wants you to go over the fireworks side with him before he catches the 1 o'clock ferry. Mainly, you have a batch of calls about the new karate school.
Now we get a close-up. There's an accident report. Brody has just typed the girl's name. She skips the space for the cause of death and just under it types next of kin information that she's collected from her wallet.
Celine's rent a bike, the Rainy Ale, Tisbury Hardware. They all say that these 9-year-olds from the school practicing karate on all those nice picket fences.
The phone rings and she picks it up.
Hello? It's the coroner. Somebody passed away in the night?
Brody nestles the phone between ear and collar, listening as she turns to the typewriter.
Jeez, Santos.
Now we have close-up. It's an insert of this accident report. The cause of death line rolls into place. The hammer punches out. Shark attack. Now Brody leans forward, staring at what she just wrote. Polly cocks her head and removes the phone from her ear.
What's the matter?
Brody takes a breath.
What water recreation the island fathers have on for today?
Right this minute?
Brody gets up and moves hastily toward the door. And now we see Brody's outer office. Cassidy and Hendricks look up as Brody enters.
Where'd you hide the beach close signs?
We've never had any. What's the problem?
A local merchant comes through the door.
Glad I caught ya. There's a city truck and New Hampshire plates parked right in front of my...
Brody pushes past him and out the door. Now it's an exterior shot. Amity's main street. It's day. Busy center of town preparing for the big 4th of July weekend. Brody wins her way through sidewalk activity, purpose and haste in each of her strides. As she turns a corner, a little man in a white smock emerges from the funeral parlor. This is Carl Santos, Amity's part-time coroner. Santos looks both ways before crossing Colonial Drive. Brody passes Kiesel's bicycle rental, navigating an awkward course through an odd assortment of Schwens that line the sidewalk in front of a demolished white picket fence. Kiesel intercepts Brody on the run.
8 to 10-year-olds, average size about 5'4". Otherwise, the overhand chop would have been higher in these fences. And I have a pretty good idea who the two little bastards are.
Later in the afternoon, Harry.
Now we angle onto Amity Gazette newspaper office. Out on the porch, Santos emerges with Ben Meadows, the stylish late 30s editor of the Amity Gazette. Together, they cut a beeline for the other side of the street. So we'll angle back on the Amity Street, past the taverns and chowder shacks, past the bleacher construction and the July 4th posters. Brody enters Linwood's hardware and sporting goods. It's so overstocked that with beach umbrellas, aluminum deck chairs, and rainbow beach towels, just splashing a surplus of color from the display window to the sidewalk. Now, the interior of Linwood's hardware, the sole proprietor is busy at work on an inventory list with a mainland delivery man.
Stuff's no good in August when the pilgrims come in June. Go on and help yourself with whatever you need, Chief. You know how to work the register.
Exterior of Linwood's. Brody emerges with enough poster board, wooden stakes, nails, paint, and brushes to close every damn beach on the island. She starts back the way she came when Hendricks shoots up the street in the patrol jeep. He stops fast enough to call attention and leans out the window.
I sent Sammy out ahead of me to the South Chop Beach until I can make up the signs.
I'll do the printing.
There's a scout troop in Everell Bay doing the mile swim for their merit badges. I couldn't call them in. There's no phones out there.
Oh, brother. Give me the keys, Lenny.
Brody leaps behind the wheel as Hendricks steps out. Exterior, Vaughn's Realty, it's day. Secretary is removing 4 8x10 glossies of beachfront houses from the display window, revealing Larry Vaughn, the mayor of Amity, exchanging anxieties with Ben Meadows and Coroner Santos, 2 other city selectmen. They come out in a group, reach the sunlight, and squint down the street as Brody careens around the corner and out of sight. Deputy Hendricks, laden with his arts and crafts, passes them on the street.
What have you got there, Lenny?
We had a shark attack at South Chop this morning, Mayor. Fatal. Gotta batten down the beach.
Vaughn and group, they just exchange horrified looks, but we get the impression it is not in response to the shark attack news.
Who have you told this to, Lenny?
I just found out about it. But there's a bunch of Boy Scouts in the water a couple miles down the coast from where we found the girl. Avril Bay, thereabouts. Chief went to dry them off.
Take my keys, okay? You, come with us, Lenny.
I've got all these signs here.
Come on. It'll give us some time to think about what they're going to say.
They all crowd into a Cadillac Eldorado with Vaughn Realty signs on the door. Get an exterior shot of the Avril Bay Day. There's a flotilla of 20 exhausted Boy Scouts round of 20 exhausted Boy Scouts round a life buoy that marks the quarter mile. A rowboat with Scoutmaster and Bullhorn keeps pace. On the beach, 2 older Sea Scouts time the event with stopwatches, and a couple of dozen parents look on, shading their eyes. Brody's Jeep pulls up in the background and stops. She gets out and starts down to the breakwater when the mayor's Cadillac pulls up and also skids to a stop. Brody pauses momentarily as Mayor Vaughn emerges, trying to effect an easygoing appearance. Reaching Brody, he slips an arm around her shoulder, trying to slow her down as Brody leads the gang towards the breakwater and the slogging scouts.
Where are you going to get these authority to close these beaches, huh?
Brody stops. He sees the pitiful Hendricks standing by the car with the signboard material. Brody begins a slow burn.
Are you asking me as the mayor, or as the real estate broker, or a friendly interest, or what, Larry?
Well, I just want to aware you of what you're doing before you tinker with the lifeblood of all the sages and discriminating souls who elected you. Next week's the goddamn 4th of July. We've got a couple of thousand summer people coming over here who will gladly use the Cape Cod beaches if they can't use ours.
So what you're suggesting is we lay out a smorgasbord for the shark. All you can eat for the price of a weekend on Amity Island.
Well, we're not even sure it's a shark.
Well, what else could do that?
Boat propeller?
Possibly. Yeah.
Yes. Swim way out. Night fishing boats. Comes along, you know.
What is this?
We've never had sharks trouble here, Martina, sorry. They don't come in close. No reef, no fish processing plant, slaughterhouse, nothing to keep any interest.
You print whatever you want.
Martina, sharks are like axe murderers. People react to them with their guts.
Brody looks towards the open water. The Boy Scouts have made a turn and are passing the lifebuoy, marking the 3/4 mile point.
Whatever is out there is miles out to sea by now. Sharks don't have swim bladders like most fish. They have to keep moving or drown. Don't you know anything about them?
I don't go around the water much.
It's a 1 chance in a million. This'll happen again. Look at it. Safe and sound, you see? Once a million.
The Boy Scouts are emerging exhausted. Some flop down on their backs, happy it's over. Brody considers this.
Had you yelled shark, those Cub Scouts would have broken freestyle record for the 100-meter. then busted our backs with a word of mouth.
If that's the test case for your 1,000,001 shot, I'm glad I lost.
Vaughn feels secure that Brody won't act in haste. She puts a hand on her shoulder, turns and walks towards the cars.
Listen, Chief, the funniest thing. You know that white picket fence around my realty office?
We get a close-up on Quint. Rising like Neptune from out of the deep, Quint walks the sidewalk in the pool of his own shadow. He is a sleek and sinewy specimen, inches over 6 feet, and with a face making it hard to determine where the scars leave off and the wrinkles begin. That's not fair to say about an old person, by the way. Although he's no older than 50.
Right.
See, scars, wrinkles.
But in the movie, he wasn't even like some rough-looking dude either.
Yeah. It's pretty smooth, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Quint's-
those Martin
but-
chops, though. Those Martin. Yeah. Like he got
Quint-
scurvy.
Quint seems to be heading for the local tavern when a crunch of seafaring fishermen pour out, forming an impenetrable knot around the sidewalk in front of him. One of them sees Quint, who approaches with no intention of slowing down. The 7 fishermen never give it a second thought. They part like the Red Sea, clearing a beeline trail to the bar doors. Quint bursts through their obliging ranks and turns into the music store. Tiny bell, ding ding, daintily. 2 of the
Welcome to the
Portuguese
FX.
spit 3 times, taking no chances. Interior of the Amity Music Store. It's day.
Really? In the pot. He had to pating in the pot, really?
Yes. He's got good aim. What are you talking about?
Quint brushes against the counter. The shopkeeper is helping a 10-year-old boy fix a new reed to his clarinet. The little boy produces a mellow, low tone, then wonderingly rides the scale. With little or no effort, Quint's gnarled hand floats up and drops like a sledge on the service bell. The shopkeeper's eyes pop up. The kid hits a bad note and squeaks.
First spools, number 12 piano wire.
Hold on. Yes, any monsters lately, Mr. Quint?
Yes.
Quint's eyes never leave the little boy. He is drilling him with a sidelong whammy. The boy feels Quint nailing him. In a ragged
Oh
assortment of
my
squeaks,
goodness.
blurbs and misnotes override the sounds of the shopkeeper and spooling the piano wire.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is literally
Went
in
over
the
the top.
script.
Interior-
He's not ad-libbing this. It's in the script.
Arr.
Really?
Took a very super R-rated turn there.
Oh my goodness.
Especially for the 70s. We're banging the boy. Interior Brody's study at home, sunset. It's a riffly blur, color alternating with black and white. The dizziness stops on a book page showing a black and white rendering of 8 species of shark. The banner at the top of the page reads, "The known and reputed man-eaters that are banging the boys." The riffling begins again, stopping on a grisly photograph of a scar tissue of 6 former shark victims. Riffling, stop. Photograph of 5 ichthyologists posing on wooden stools, framed by the enormous jaws of a prehistoric shark from the family Carcharodon carcharius. Now Brody, his reading glasses reflecting a stack of 12 library books, all on the subject of sharks and shark attacks. The door opens and Alan enters, quietly in respect for Brody's mood.
Can you stand something to eat?
Love a cup of tea with lemon.
Alan walks past Brody to the window and looks out the window, which overlooks the South Bay. It is the hour of dusk.
Mickey loves his birthday present.
Where is he?
He's sitting in it.
He gets up and joins him.
Honey, he has tied up in the jetty with a double knot.
Now we're looking from Brody's point of view. Michael, their kid, is sitting in the boat, but 2 of his young school chums are in the water, swimming around it like shark bait. Brody opens the window and calls down.
The window's open.
Son, out of water now.
My boats need Dad.
You could turn.
How am I swim out of the ocean?
It's 3 feet deep, Martina. You said the shark was halfway back to Florida.
Get angry.
Michael, come inside the house.
It's his birthday tomorrow. Let him.
You gonna let him?
I told him not to go until he memorized the handbook, safety regulations, and
Alan's eyes drift down to the open book. One large text is open to a page of illustrations. Among them is the famous painting, The Gulf Stream, which depicts a black fisherman in a small dinghy, much like Michael's, being assaulted by the pressing jaws of 3 man-eaters. Startled, Alan closes the book, opens the window, and sticks his head out.
You heard your robotics voice of the mother? Get out now.
She's like, I shouldn't have smoked so much. Exterior beach day.
You can't write. You cannot write something this good.
A jelly bowl woman visit. Yeah, you can. That's right. A jelly bowl woman visits Amity Beaches, plunges headlong into the white foam. There's enough of her stuffed into a one-piece bathing suit to sate the appetite of any shark for weeks. Remarkably buoyant, she chops at the water, revealing other cheerful Sunday bathers trying to enjoy the last uncluttered weekend before the holiday crowds. I'm not sure what I just read there. Angle. Martina, Brody, and Alan, the happy couple. Brody is balefully alert this morning, sitting straight back in her beach chair, coating the swimming area with careful looks. About 10 other adults and a dozen children attend this casual birthday get-together.
I don't envy you this summer, Chief. Every year, the swarms get worse.
I know why there's not a single Parisian left in Paris from July to September.
Yeah, because of you.
Brody hears a scream from the water. I'm telling you, 21 different distinct voices, man.
Oh my gosh. And that's the voice that nobody wants to hear after this show.
It was distinct, right? Brody hears a scream from the water. He cranes his neck. She cranes her neck past Max's wife in order to see. From Brody's point of view, a young lady is being pulled underwater by her hair. Instantly, she's jerked up again. It's either Shia LaBeouf or a shark. Sitting on her boyfriend's shoulders, laughing hysterically.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to play Brody.
What?
Yeah. What?
Did you say something?
No. Yeah, I was wondering if it's true that you sit in the car the whole while over the main ferry land.
That's another way of saying it.
This is getting hilarious. Yes,
welcome to the 5-hour version of Jaws.
Brody's point of view.
Yeah. Where's my Adderall? Their son Michael, along with several other boys, rush headlong into the gentle surf with their inflatable rubber rafts. Feeling very prophylactic, another youngster, Alex Kurtner, gathers up his day-glow yellow raft, but his mother takes issue and a tug of war ensues. So we'll do these dialogues differently. They're kind of overlapping here.
Yeah.
What a terrible thing to say.
Please let me take my raft, Mom. Come on, Penny. I'm not ashamed to admit that when I fly, my feet sweat right through my socks.
Let me see your fingertips.
Oh, that's me now.
Oh, so sorry. My bad. I'm trying to help. I'm Max's mom. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you didn't. Come on,
Let me see
Mom.
your fingertips. They're beginning to prove. 10 more minutes. See, that was my queen.
You see, he got so mad. He's like, I'm gonna get my damn queen voice out tonight. Damn it.
See, I have a list here.
Oh, Jesus.
Of 21 different voices that I have to do.
Oh my god.
And I have the rest of the 47 of them.
I will jump in. I will jump in for any minor parts. If I hear a pause for more than 3 seconds, I will jump in with a voice, whatever.
I do want to explain something because because we are get off track a little bit here. That like all this is, if you see the movie, it's all from Brody's point of view because she's getting really sweaty at this point because she's feeling very paranoid This is like at this point in the movie, we see that this is eating Brody up. Watching these people having fun on the beach and stuff, it's becoming very anxiety driven for the chief because now they see a fat woman that's going out too far. Nobody, that's like seriously, that's shark bait. Shark's going, yeah, hi guys, let her have me. Right.
Shark bait. Waha.
So we hear Alex.
15 minutes.
We stay on that fat woman kind of hypnotically. It's like a lava lamp.
Page 17. Bottom of page 17.
Yeah. Yeah. You're getting ready to come in with how's the water.
Yeah.
I can do it right now. In fact, snapping out of it.
Oh, no, Lord.
Brody looks up at the dripping select man. I heard it.
No.
Oh, well, how's the water?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Fine, cold. How'd you do it? Getting him to the beach. It's Michael's birthday. Oh, hope we get this weather next weekend.
Oh.
Still from Brody's point of view, transfixed on the fat woman, not where we last remember seeing her. Sort of rises to one knee. Brody kind of looks out, combing the surf.
Do you want me to call the boys in, honey? If this worries you. Does this mortal fear of water have any clinical name, Martina?
Drowning. Oh, my name's Martin.
Drowning. Exterior water, underwater, dead.
When she comes back, she's Martina. When I jump in, I'm Martin.
So it's like, ooh, it's like schizophrenic. That's cool. I like it.
No wonder
this adds a whole other level to the movie.
Did we
Martin
just
is going
end
through
Shyamalan this film
like,
right now?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you just say? Do we just end Shamanamanam?
Because now it's like this whole thing. It's got like Dress to Kill, and like we're bringing in like some modern elements, like where this person is like transgender and fighting with their like upbringing, and at the same time as there's possibly a shark attack on the beach, but maybe it's really just Brody. Fisheye view of the people lying on the rafts. From below, we already know it's a shark, though. We already gave that away at the very beginning. From below, we see the outlines of swimmers, arms and legs dangling tantalizingly in the blue water. Traveling this way from raft to raft, there comes a space of open water, followed by a quick view of a single raft. A pair of feet kicking and arms paddling produces bizarre underwater vibrations, louder than human ears would normally perceive. Boom, 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 boom. Angle, surface. The fat lady, the hypnotic lava lamp fat lady, she's floating on her back wearing pink sunglasses, yummy shark stuff. There's just a black object surfaces next to her. It emerges as a bather in a black bathing cap. It's not the shark fin, just a dude swimming. Angle on Alex paddling in circles, making motorboat sounds. Angle on two lovers kissing, drawing each other below the surface for some underwater goodness. Angle on Brody's son, separating from his friends. Don't do that. Eating a huge piece of cake, making it super bonus tempting to the shark. Trying to steer with one hand. We angle on a group of kids on rubber rafts. They begin a water fight, slapping at the ocean with the karate type blows we heard about earlier, sending little explosions of water at each other. Then, no more than 10 feet beyond the fighting, a genuine, actual water eruption upstages the child's play. Everybody turns just as the ocean flattens itself out again. A pug-faced, oversized 12-year-old named PJ, of course, renews the fighting with genuine karate yell. You see PJ, he hits the water, spraying water all over a youngster. The face dripping with red rivulets, a close-up of PJ looking down at his hand. The water, all the boys, it's just slick with blood. Angle back onto the shorefront. People begin to congregate around an older gentleman, definitely a mainlander by his outfit.
It came out of the water. Didn't anybody else see it? There's blood.
Close up of Brody. She stands all the way up this time. Maybe he. Parents begin calling, a frantic inventory for lost children up and down the beach. Brody is on the move, barreling to the shoreline. He, possibly she, kicks up sand, passing Alex's mother, who looks up from her novel, annoyed.
Michael, everybody out of the water. Hold on. Michael!
Other names from hysterical parents as the panic of yet unseen tragedy arises. Angle on Michael. He appears from the chute of a breaking wave. He's all right, but the wave that curls after him carries the shredded pieces of the day-glow yellow raft. The foam that breaks wide on the sandy beach is all tinged pink. Interior of the county courthouse and the county office is day. A crowd of men and women in angry tangle outside of Brody's office. These are the shop owners, the real estate brokers, the hotel managers, and selectmen of the island. Through the windows, the South Beach High School band is practicing for the 4th of July parade. Brody and Vaughn exit Brody's office and enter the fray.
I'm glad everybody could make this meeting. Why don't we wander down the hall to my office where there's the room?
All follow Brody and Vaughn. Meadows pushes through the crunch to speak.
Don't keep us in suspense, Mayor. What's the verdict?
Vaughn cannot bring himself to say it right away.
Larry and I have agreed to close all beaches for the limited period of time to give us a chance to contact the Port Authority and the United States Coast Guard out of Montauk.
Well, that could take all summer.
24 hours.
We never agreed to that.
I'd do a thrifty business, her, but I'm not sure it flourishes at the price of any more lives. 3 reservations canceled, and I'm still have August rentals open.
So do I, Martha. So do I.
They reach Vaughn's office. It is being painted. Newspapers are strewn all over the floor. I'm getting really lost. It paints.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. You're right there. You're right there.
All over the furniture. Vaughn's secretary still dutifully takes calls. Larry, 2 Newsday reporters and 1 from the New York Times. They're like calling every 15 minutes.
Good. Nobody saw a shark. What they'll print is maybe was a shark. Oh, wonderful. And what we'll have is maybe a summer. Town's loss of tax revenue, municipal services will deteriorate. The people begin to move away. Oh, I don't care. I've never raised my kids in somebody else's lunch.
We have no way of keeping a lid on what happened yesterday. There's well over 100 bathers on that beach, 3/4 of them from the mainland.
Vaughn leads the way down the hall toward the Bureau of Records.
I'm not interested in participating in any cover-ups, Mayor.
I wouldn't worry too much about that, Max. The president himself couldn't stop that mushroom at this point.
He whispers in his ear.
But couldn't we just say the kid drowned?
We couldn't even find the little bastard.
Vaughn opens the door to the Bureau of Records. About 24 children sit around twisting multicolored Kleenex into artificial flowers for the big parade. Vaughn turns his face into a condescending grin.
Could the big people have the grown-up meeting in here, please, children?
Get the lost.
A voice from behind Vaughn draws him away. It is a small but muscular black man named Salvatore. Mr. Vaughn! He's got an Italian accent. He steps out of the shadows.
He's a black guy.
In hand. Mr. Quinn to send me down from a Jacobs of town.
For what?
Well,
For?
he out to catching them things every day, practically. The price is right. He come and catch yours here.
One moment, please. Oh man, I know you were ready for that voice. Okay.
What's he get?
10,000 on the color TV.
How much?
A 27-inch, a Japanese one. Vaughn studies the little blinking man, ready to laugh.
Mr. Quint services are not required, thanks. Is there enough empty office space anywhere in this goddamn building?
Weights and measures nobody ever uses. Vaughn starts away and the crowd follows. They are halted in their tracks by the grim appearance of Mrs. Kittner and her benign father. Don't we all want to be benign, really? She is dressed in church white with a black armband. Mrs. Kintner never says a word. She has just tacked something to the community bulletin board and is walking through the parting crowd. With sympathy, all watch her leave, then press up to the cork board. Brody fights his/her way through everyone until we are standing over his/her shoulder, staring at a homemade poster that offers all or a fraction of $3,000 bounty to the man or men who catch and slaughter the shark that savaged Alex M. Kintner Jr. on Sunday, June 29 in the town of Amity.
Listen, Larry, I'm going to talk to her. This isn't a contest we want everybody from Boston to Quebec entering.
I agree. If she's going to advertise, I wouldn't recommend out of city paper. There's enough of us here in Amity could take care of this.
Larry, I'm responsible for the public safety around here. So, I think tomorrow you should go out with whoever. And I see that they don't get hurt, huh?
But nobody sport fishes for sharks.
No one's listening. Already plans are being discussed, sides chosen, boats, tackle, and tactics recommended. The den overrules Brody, who we pull up close to, and then we cut to an interior of Quint's chum shed. Had to make sure I said that correctly. A naked 100-watt bulb illuminates the chum shed, the electric grinder purring in one corner. The slick black carcass of a pilot whale dominates the lighted area. Quint is hacking slabs off the whale with his marine machete as his mate, Salvatore, an empty barrel to the grinder. Where do you find this whale anyway?
Way out, dead as a doornail.
How come a harpoon holes in him? Quint doesn't reply as he hacks away. The mate rolls away a full barrel. You hardly never use this charming for a shark.
For some kinds, I do.
Quint muscles a new slab into the grinder, slowing it to a low growl as it purees the blubber.
Go hose the deck. We'll charter for 9 a.m.
I think it's one of those that they got down there. Quint's grim smile is reply enough. Salvatore, looking worried, indicates some barrels full of whale pulp. Load these on or what? Quint is hacking revenge from the mutilated carcass. He spits away the dripping perspiration.
Not required. You heard the man. Just a regular charter tomorrow. I'll keep this on ice for a while.
Now we angle on Quint, just chopping with that machete.
Choppity chop.
And now we're going to cut to a shovel. Wump, wump, wump. We go from chop to wump, wump, wump. Pounding the sharpened standard into the sand. The sign reads, no swimming or wading. Amity PD. Sunset on the beach. Ding, ding. Hendricks and another deputy are assisting Brody. Silhouettes of town people look on like mourners at a funeral. In the background, some workmen are taking down the shutters from a quaint summer cottage. They pause to watch the declining moments of the day. 3 selectmen also stand watching. One of them seemed to be whispering bounty news to 3 youngish men on a nearby dune. We hear the surf and the hammering. So we cut to the exterior of the grassy inlet and pool. It's night. Selectman Denherder and his buddy Charlie, a professional angler, push a wheelbarrow ahead of them as they near the tumble-down jetty that leads 50 feet out into the black water. Both men scuff along exhausted.
You want to call it a night after here? It's only 2:30. What are you, tired? Yes, Charlie. I got my second wind 3 nibbles back.
Denherder hefts a blood-stained laundry bag from the wheelbarrow, revealing about 100 feet of coiled dog chain and a large patched inner tube. Charlie takes out a monster hook, and together they push the wheelbarrow onto the rickety pier that is only about 5 feet across.
Leg of lamb this time? Screw lamb. Let's shoot the sirloin. We're blowing half the bounty on bait.
The splintered pier sways to and fro as the men reach the end and start to work. It's kind of foreshadowing here. Charlie baits the hook with a massive chunk of sirloin, while Denherter secures the loose end of the chain to a skinny piling. Charlie then fastens the inner tube to the chain 5 feet from the end of the hook.
One more after this, then I'm going home. Set.
Denherter tugs the chain against the piling to prove that it is set. Charlie heaves the bait. Splash! The inner tube follows, and both men eagerly watch as it floats seaward, the chain playing out from the wheelbarrow.
Ooh, the tide's taking it right out.
Charlie lights his pipe and sits back against a piling. He turns on his transistor radio and loops one end around a fractured board. Denherter paces, bored to death.
You do this all the time, right, Charlie? 20 years. I can't believe that people pay money to go fishing. This is really dumb. This isn't even relaxing or boring. Just boring.
We have a close-up of that chain in the wheelbarrow. Suddenly we just see it zipping out faster and faster as both men straighten. Denherter is goggle-eyed.
Hey, what's this?
The chain is coming out so fast that it begins to drag the wheelbarrow to the end of the jetty. A section of chain tangles around the handle and flips the entire machine into the air. Both men watch dumbfounded as the inner tube, racing out to sea in a wake of white water, suddenly just dips under.
Look at him take it. Ooh, did I set a goddamn hook? Let him do it. Go, go, go. Go.
It is then that the chain whips taut against the narrow pilings. We have a close-up of the pilings, a lineup of 5 decrepit 2x4-inch pilings snap with a resounding crack. Then we angle on the jetty. The end of the jetty is yanked loose. Denherter is flipped like a chip over the side and into the cold water, where he manages to snag hold of a splintered timber. And now we see from his point of view, the severed section of jetty. A joined platform of footboards is being dropped seaward with Charlie sitting dazed on top of it, his pipe still lit.
Ooh, Charlie, jump!
Charlie rolls into the water, sputters, turns to watch the flotilla of wood draw away. Now, close up of Charlie looking seaward. And we see from his POV, the end of the jetty makes like a 180-degree turn, and it all starts heading back his direction.
Holy Jesus Christ!
Denherter steps up on the broken piling just to be out of the water.
Get the hell out, Charlie! Swim!
Charlie, inhaling terror, trying to slog to shore. The jetty is getting closer. Suddenly, the chain dragging it through the water is severed, and the charging wood falls behind. An enormous black fin breaks the water like a periscope, making course corrections as it comes for Charlie. Denherter jumps from piling to piling, almost losing his balance on his way to help Charlie. Charlie has reached the last pylon toward the open sea, and his hand clambers for a hold, but you see his hand? The algae is just too slippery, and his fingers keep sliding back. That's when the fin behind him seems to reach up to the sky, and Charlie screams. An explosion of water and bubbles mercifully blot out the image because it's the 70s. Exterior Amity Harbor, because today they would just show guts and shit, like bubbling, boiling guts. Ben Gardner, now though, we see the Amity Harbor. It's dawn, it's the morning. Ben Gardner, ruddy-faced and ornery. He's a fisherman. It's seaworthy as you might imagine. With his mate, the Swede. He starts to board the Flicka, a Bertram 28 sports fisherman. Absently, he makes preparations for casting off, his attention focused on surrounding dockside activity. And we get a high angle on the whole harbor. There's just chaos. A dozen cars, trucks, double parked on the dock, out-of-state plates from New Jersey, Rhode Island, Connecticut. Other vehicles are pulling up and parking. Men unloading their weapons, boarding small boats. There's a queue of up islanders, down islanders, out-of-towners at the boat rental shack. From rank amateurs and their green golf slacks to the alley poor and their Levi tatters. All of this disdainfully observed by Ben Gardner. Cries of "cast off!" The starting of diesel engines in contrast to the flooded baby of Evinrude's. All of this heaped along by a honcho of swearing. Gosh dang it. Close. The harbor master, sleepy, the old salt bends over the dock, washing out his coffee pot in the oily harbor water. That's gross. He sets down the pot, pulls a small wooden chair into position on which teeters a bowl of Kellogg's Rice Krispies and collapses into it with a spoon in his hand. He watches stoically as Brody, we get a close-up, riding up on her police bicycle, having hormone problems as she's been having today. Brody joins Deputy Hendricks, who is trying to break up an argument at the rental stand.
Sorry. Christ, Martina, whatever you want to be called again. That Kinder lady must have taken out an ad in Field and Stream.
Looks more like Harvard. Wow, looks more like the Harvard Lampoon.
I didn't come all the way out here from New Rochelle to be gauged in the seat of my pants by this loan shark. Prices always go up here after June 1st. Isn't that right, Chief? If you wanted a leaky boat at a lower rate, go up to the Hamptons.
We're gonna angle from one of the bounty boats. The narrow channel leading out of the port lies ahead. An incoming boat, a Formula 22 inboard-outboard with 110 horsepower Volvo engines. A few of the smaller craft begin zigzagging to clear the right-of-way, their wakes causing annoying chop in the bay. We angle on an incoming Formula 22. Matt Hooper, a bearded backpacking young man, is at the helm, peering ahead at the ragtag armada. He ties up, revealing for the first time a 7x4-foot steel cage in the stern, drawing some attention. Back to the dockside, another man and his two buddies heft a trash can into one of the boats. He lifts the lid, and the stench throws his head in near whiplash.
What is that, sewage? For chum. Let's move it. What's chum? Anything that attracts them.
Brody looks over at the dock rail and the boarding. 8 men have piled into a tiny Glastron and are now loading various and sundry weapons from crossbows to spear guns. Brody walks over to the harbor master.
Isn't there a limit to how many men those boats could carry?
Sit down next to me, son, and we'll find out.
We get a close-up of Gardner, exchanging distasteful looks with his mate. He's casting off the bow lines just as Felix and Pratt, 2 Down Island characters, run over. Okay, we go out with you. Gardner quickly pushes off, leaving Felix with his boarding leg in the air.
Hunt with the pack, sport. I'll fish for it my way.
Felix and Pratt make obscene gestures and run off, looking for boats not yet filled to capacity, trying to make a deal. We angle on the landing. Hooper sees Brody up in arms about something, walking toward him. Hooper starts to speak, but Brody veers aside and yells over the pier at the landing boats.
No dynamite. Hand that stuff over, or you'll never leave port.
It's fireworks? Hello? I read somewhere that it attracts them.
Sharks are equipped with 2 long cords of nerve tissues that function as sort of a radar for homing and underwater vibrations. Understand? You're having a little shark problem.
Brody turns and walks away, Hooper barely keeping up with him.
If you guys are going to break, just give me a moment to react to you guys first. Okay, I'm good.
Okay.
I know you have a visitor off your southern shores. I think it could be my shark.
It belongs to whoever catches it. You'll move this car to a parking slot, mister, or it won't be here when you get back.
Sure. I'm not with those others.
It's always nice to meet an educated man.
I'm interning in the American Museum of Natural History, but the Oceanographic Research Institute in South Africa is co-sponsoring my thesis paper, arm in arm with the Natural Institute of Health and Marine Fishery Service.
Brody pauses to look hard at Hooper. A careless amateur trips and falls into the harbor beyond him.
I don't have time to help you with your homework.
He goes over to lend a hand to the faller, and Hooper persists.
I'm trying to prove that the shark that killed Christine Watkins last Friday was the same rogue that salvaged these.
Hooper pulls a mimeograph sheet in front of Brody, about 20 names and addresses in all.
One shark did all of this?
The trail of the rogue sharks leads all over the world. This is the only theory. It has never been authenticated, but there is a wonderful chance that the shark that has killed that Watkins girl is the man-eater. I tagged off the Great Barrier Reef are the ones and the same. Off and on that I've tracked it. I've checked it into New Zealand, Santiago Bay, Cape Town, South Africa, the Gulf of New Guinea, and then the West Palm Beach, Florida. That's December. And finally predicted it would follow the warm Gulf Stream into the North Seasonal Zones and release an attack pattern along the Jersey coast. I was off by just 300 miles. It hit you instead.
You'll pardon me if I don't help you get your PhD while my town here degenerates into some high-class ghost resort.
He starts to walk away. In the background, we hear all the boats heading towards the open ocean.
By the way, I love how I read Brody completely like straight, no mistakes in reading. But every time I do Hooper, like I'm always goofing, and literally the way that Richard Dreyfuss plays that character, I always feel like he's gonna like have a freaking anxiety attack. So I love it. All right,
It adds to it too, which is pretty cool.
All I'm asking is a little future cooperation. I can predict the future outbreaks of attack activity in the area. Use me. Let me use you. I scored 93 in my O's for crying out loud.
Had 2 other attacks since that Watkins thing, both fatal. Could you kill it for us?
No, sir, I couldn't.
Then how do we begin to cooperate?
By letting me see Christine Watkins.
Man, back up to that one thing for a second there. It's like he says, use me. Let me use you. I scored 93 on my orals.
Oh, God, Jesus.
I'm gonna use that in another movie sometime. A pornographic one.
I thought you said you were about to use it for a pickup line. I'm like,
no, I'm gonna write an X-rated movie and put that in there. But anyway, exterior ocean day. The armada is spread out and moving in a ragged circle, 15 boats in all. One man heaves cherry bombs into the water. A smaller boat going in the opposite direction offers us barwood,
yeah, he does.
forking spaghetti leftovers into the ocean while his friend pours out a bottle of ketchup. A speedboat chugs by, one of the occupants reading instructions aloud from a book entitled Sharks, East Coast Volume 1. A boatload of impoverished scallop fishermen throw a net overboard full of gaps and split ends. The professionals look professional, but the landlubbers out for the $3,000 make it just impossible for everybody. Collisions are barely averted. The Rube Goldberg error. This is like the out-of-towner in a small boat has been over in a life or death struggle. His rod in a tight arc. His buddy leaps across to lend a hand. 20 yards away in another boat, the same struggle ensues. This time, it's the overloaded boat with the poor scallop fishermen. Shouts of "I'm on," "dig in," "strike," and then a tangle of tackle springs from the water. They've hooked each other. Joy turns to swearing. Arnold Felix stands up to applaud the mishap, while his buddy Pratt takes careful aim with his Remington 1100 12 gauge and blasts at the tackle as if it were a clay pigeon. The tangle explodes. Both the out-of-towners and the scallop fisherman falls over backwards. The scallop boat swerves right and bows into an 11-foot glastron. A proud manner standing in the stern while his 30-06 is knocked off balance and pitches forward into the drink. His gun exploding outward, and the wad of shot from the exploding rifle hits the rigging of a passing boat, sending the jib mains about 20 pounds of rigging on top of the bewildered occupants. So it's like one of those cartoon things where just one thing is happening and making another thing. Now we angle on Harry's boat. 3 men are aboard, one holding a rod which holds a fast arc. A few yards off stern, we see a triangular dorsal fin crossing back and forth, struggling, jerking the mighty tail, threshing. One man is screaming success, the other 2 slapping the angler on the back. We get a close-up of Pratt and Felix. They spot it, and they're sour over it.
Hey, it's me. Well, we get over here. He ain't caught it yet.
The owner of Pratt's boat
It's
throws
a
it forward.
Yes.
I think he's related to Salvatore.
I think you're all related to some plumbers, bro.
The owner of Pratt's
how
boat
he's
throws it forward, and Pratt removes a .45 automatic from the holster of his belt. He tests it, firing it once in the air. As they near scene of the struggle, 11 other boats begin converging until we see Harry's boat. Everyone wants to get into the act. They're attacking the threshing beast with all they've got. Automatic. Another blast of point blank with a shotgun. There are occasional water ricochets, and the bounty hunters duck from time to time as bullets skip by them. Finally, the shark stops threshing. It's dead. Now we see Felix and Pratt. Their boat has moved close to the shark, closer than Harry's. Pratt screams,
"Hand me that pole quickly!"
One of his party in the overfilled boat grabs a gaff and leans out to grab the moribund shark. But Harry won't give up the line, still reeling him in.
"Beat it! I hooked it! House of the family, Harry. Go on and do it."
We split out a middle.
Oh my god.
Pratt nods reluctantly. The man swings, lodges the gaff, and hauls the shark up onto the gunwale. A paroxysm of cheers from the surrounding boats. Smoke flares are fired into the air.
Let go of my shark!
It is a 10-foot blue, and what a damn mess. Splattered with bullet punctures, gashes, bleeding from several orifices. But it is not dead. It kicks back to life and threatens to capsize the boat. Pratt panics and fires 6 times with his .45. The bullets pierce the shark's head, pass through, and split the fiberglass hull through which a flood of water rises. Everybody stands up as the boat slips beneath them.
Whoa.
High angle from the shore. On a hummock overlooking the cluster of boats stands Quint. He's laughing out loud. He's LOL, okay?
Har,
A sharp,
har.
piercing bark that has little real humor. He's LMFAO.
Isn't that funny? It was written in the 70s. It's actually written out. Laugh out loud.
below
Har.
below the circle of boats tighten around the spreading stain of crimson. That sounds like never mind. Interior morgue day. Hooper is this is just wrong today. Measuring the bite marks on the Dayglow raft with his dial calibrators.
I'll look at her if you don't mind.
I'm glad I can stop myself sometimes because you guys are terrible at stopping me. Brody, the coroner, Santos, and Hooper are all just standing there. Hooper scribbles notes, then he mumbles something inaudible into his pocket cassette recorder. Coroner Santos looks to Brody plaintively. That was a different sort of accident, as I told you.
Let him.
The coroner hesitates, then walks to the ice chest and slides open the drawer of Hooper. At first, his face registers shock, kind of like the shock everybody has when they see Brody, and they're like, "Man, who are you today?" Then, with forced composure, Hooper steadies his hands and begins to take pictures with his Minolta.
I've heard the boat propeller story several times, and the nocturnal hatchet murder story, the dashed upon the razor coal story. The little boy was never found.
Brody just nods, looking down.
They're very successful creatures, sharks. 8 million years of antiquity for the species of the great white. The family goes as far back as 300 million years. Plenty of time to get good at what they do.
Attendant flies into the room, joyfully out of wind.
They called from the dock, Mr. Brody. They got him.
They got a close-up of Hooper, and he looks stunned. And the close-up of Brody, enjoying a lightheadedness he hasn't felt in weeks.
I don't believe it.
Want to see?
And now it's like exterior shot of the breakwater leading to the public bathing area. Then a procession of about 20 men dragging the shark by a tail rope from the harbor to the beach. A dog follows, barking at the remains of the blue. As they arrive at the beach, Meadows takes charge. Talks to both his photographer and the bounty hunter.
I want a good one for under the headline, near the water. Get a group shot of the shark. You sit on page 1, 6 inches by 6. Column center, please.
That's what she said. Some of the men have run ahead, 6 by 6, happily knocking down some of Brody's no swimming signs.
Great. Bring one over here.
In the background, voices, laughter, some joke about the big-time fisherman, Ben Gardner, not even back yet. Others open beer, throw frosty cans around, making it look like a Miller's beer commercial. Meadows positions the shark and vigilantes.
Group around Charlie Tuna. That's right. No. Leave it clear in the back, closer to the sign.
Brody and Hooper walk up.
Smile, boys. On 3. Drop the sign. No, on 3. Bill. 1, 2, 4. Oh, damn it. 3.
Click. Yay!
One more. Just the 2 prize winners.
Mott groans as the posse moves aside. Pratt and the gaffer remain. One of the others raises the sign again for the other 2.
I hooked him, In a little tighter, please.
The gaffer doesn't fancy sliding up to the critter.
Check this bastard.
He starts to poke it in the eye. Pratt on the other side leans forward for a closer look, gaff in hand. The gaffer pokes the eye. The blue shark is wide awake. A vicious lunge in the opposite direction that snaps the gaff in Pratt's hand completely in half.
Christ, ain't it even dead?
No.
Pratt squeezes out a little smile and shuffles 8 feet to his right out of range. Hooper and Brody walk into the frozen tableau. Hooper walks over to the shark, eyeing it with both amusement and disappointment.
Yours?
Now, this one's a blow.
I hooked him. Is it this one?
Hooper unravels a lab thermometer on a long nylon cord, twirling it over his head like a lariat, finally hurling it out into the ocean. He then unhooks a steel tape measure from his bag of tricks and spools out feet and inches from the shark's nose to tail. Sure. I'm sorry.
Damn. Damn.
I get
Damn.
going. I just didn't want to stop. I'm just gonna read the rest of it. You guys go. You're
All
welcome.
right, ladies and gentlemen, have a good night. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Crunchy Toast Man show. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. It's big enough. 10.6 feet.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
It should be. Who is it, this guy?
Hooper's reeling in his thermometer.
The Institute of Shark sent him to lend a hand, Mr. Hooper. That's it, right. They expect he's half a day late now, and I already caught it.
Now we get a Hooper reading the thermometer.
Not so sure. Blue sharks pretty much operate on warm water law and limit their attacks to 70 degrees and up. Ocean is 55.
Who is it, this guy?
The great white's body temperature is the lateral musculature is almost 18 degrees above whatever the temperature of the water. I don't know if this is our bite culprit.
If you'd have seen him at the fight that he put up, you'd shut up. Hell, he ate the 9-year-old boy yesterday. The bastard, goddammit. This is my shark.
Hooper removes its sheath, the meanest 14-inch hunting knife Pratt's ever seen.
Only one way for him, know for sure. And since it's not my shark, I'm not spraying open the belly to see what proportions of a boy is still inside. Am I?
Groans are heard from the bounty hunters, some of whom start to turn away. We get a close-up of Brody, uncomfortable, queasy at the thought of it. We get a close-up of Pratt. He wraps his hands behind him in defiance of the proffered blade.
Well, this guy cut it with him, with me, and Harry over there hooked it.
We angle on Harry. He starts to whistle up towards the clouds. Back to Hooper as he poises the knife himself under the underbelly.
Not here, Mr. Hooper.
Could it be? He's big enough, all right. but I still see I can't be sure until.
The boy's mother.
And now, from their point of view, we see Mayor Vaughn, Mrs. Kentner, and her father approaching. Mrs. Kentner is draped in black. She's mourning and never utters a sound. She lifts her veil, walks 2 paces forward, and spits down at the shark. Takes 2 paces back and replaces the veil, recovering her poise.
This it? I won't know until I perform a full autopsy. Who is this kid?
He's the fish expert from the Oceanographic Foundation.
Well, it doesn't take much of an expert to see that this is a biggest, ugliest, meanest looking shark I've ever hooked around Amity Island. Who got it?
Harry steps forward, pointing.
This guy, Pratt, and me.
$1,000 a piece is not a bad day's haul.
Vaughn begins shaking hands with the 3 winners, and Meadows snaps some bonus pictures. Mrs. Kentner's father draws close to Brody and Vaughn, handing Vaughn a card from his pocket.
At whatever the cost, my daughter has requested that all preparations be made to ship this animal to her hometown in Millsburg, Massachusetts. Can you accommodate us?
What the devil for?
Nary a blink from the old man, and Vaughn looks to the Hooper, weighing the alternatives.
We'll see it through, Mr. Sands. Martin, you start collecting those signs and keep your friends away from that devil with the pig sticker there. Let's show some respect for the loss we've incurred, huh? Get the story on the state wire. Try to get the AP and the UPI to stick it up to New York or to Boston to put it in a national. Call David Axelrod in New York and tell him that this is from me, and he owes me one.
Now we angle on the father and Mrs. Kentner, walking up the beach with Pratt, Harry, and the gaffer following behind. Brody kneels next to the shark, making a face at the wafting stench.
Some field you picked.
Well, there's dolphins, but they talk too much.
We cut to an interior radio room in the Coast Guard Station number 4. It's evening now, and one man is at the radio. Another, a laundry white officer, walks toward Brody.
Can't seem to raise your Mr. Gardner. Maybe his radio is out? Or he could have put it somewhere else. He would have called his wife.
They walk out together into the eerie dusk fog.
No point sending out a plane, huh? I'll get a patrol boat on it, if you'd like to go. I don't do so hot on boats. Well, contact you down there if... Listen, Brody, sharks are always around. Blues, browns, makos, thousands. Can't you get rid of just one for us? Where is it? How did we find it? It should have come around again. Odds are worse than the highway. But you can protect the beach. I mean, you have access to. We can't put up a show. We could give you spotters, but in where the waves break, the water's cloudy and it's hard to spot. Or we could string out shark repellent. Sometimes it's effective, but then sometimes what do I do then? Pray for lousy weather? We're just the Coast Guard, Brody.
Brody walks into the fog until he finally disappears. We get a slow, low angle of that lighthouse. Brody walking away from the station and the lighthouse preoccupied with a dozen alternative thoughts. A shattering blast from the foghorn catches him unprepared and comes out of his skin. Hands clasped to his ears. He passes a sign that can barely be seen through the fog. Warning, foghorn can be damaging to your damn hearing. Exterior, front porch of Brody's house. It's nighttime. Hooper's having after dinner something with Alan and Martina Brody, while a spectacular heat lighting display colors the night clouds and dances on the water miles out.
There's good things to be said about missing. It's worked in Australia for years. Repellent's a myth. There now there's a cable available charged with 7,000 amps that could be string along the entire bathing area.
We have Kahlua, Mr. Hooper.
Matt, I don't drink alcohol, but thank you. We think the Great White possesses an electrical sense.
Michael walks in. He doesn't smile after the Sunday incident. He's quite dry this evening and is in possession of a ghastly watercolor of a shark tearing a man in two.
Mr. Fisher had us all draw sharks for in school today. I told you not to wear that Cracker Jack ring. It's too big. You're gonna catch it on something and lose a finger.
This is a very good rendering, Mike. Looks like a thrasher. Where'd you learn to draw him?
I cheated. I found a picture in one of my dad's books.
Get bitten by the subject or just morbid curiosity?
Wah, wah, wah.
More in the spirit of public interest. Mrs. Fisher says if we have a bad season, we could sell our pictures to the tourists. We get to pay through American history again tomorrow.
Alan and Brody exchange worried looks. Hooper digs around in his pocket for something, then looks through his satchel purse.
Want me to speak to her tomorrow?
Hooper hands Michael a shark's tooth on a wire necklace.
I picked this up in Macau. There's supposed to be a superstition about these things, but if you keep it with you, you'll be safe from a shark bite.
Michael smiles for the first time, and a warm moment passes between him and Hooper.
I gotta show this to Gruber.
MacGruber?
I gotta show this to MacGruber, my friend MacGruber. Don't sleep with that on, son. You'll cut something in the night. That was nice. Michael hasn't smiled since his birthday party. And that Kittner accident.
He was witness?
Yeah. Listen. I'm no cracker meteorologist, but I think we're in store for some surf.
Well, I don't know what a crocodile-meteorologist is, but I hope not. I'm long laying in the morning. You should come along, Marty.
In case you haven't caught the island gossip, I never take baths, just showers.
Very personal.
Girls? Aquaphobia or what? Mind if I smoke, by the way?
But it's pronounced aquaphobia. No, wait here.
Oh, you're such a hater to the sticky icky.
There's some strange like things being expressed, and Brody has some strange habits and concerns about his kid too. Brody takes out a lighter as Hooper puts a twisted cigarette in his mouth. Instead of inhaling, Hooper takes a long hit, a marijuana hit, and it doesn't take long for the shock to beat the aroma to where Ellen and Martin sit. That it's a marijuana drug joint.
Yeah. I'm going to try and snag an old boy with a 332 in stainless steel cable, by the way, of an aircraft. Yeah, a stainless steel aircraft cable. I put that all together for you to understand. I'm smart.
I can throw your ass in jail for that, you know.
Hey, drop my own cage. Thanks. But if this really is my shark, he's got Pearson disc tag on his anal fin. Get it? And it can't be seen from a boat.
One's hooked. Then what?
Hooper brightens and reaches into his duffel, pulling out a shiny stainless steel object about the size of an alarm clock.
Oh, biotelemetry. It's a radio killer. I bell the cat and then follow him anywhere. I'm trying to make a deal with the satellites tracking station at Houston, Texas.
Now, let's wait a minute. You have him hooked, right?
Well, I'll never take him, without a fight, but
And you stick that cigarette case in his neck?
that's the plan.
Then you let him loose. You let him go free.
Hooper sees where this has arrived. He swallows the roach and takes a breath.
I know what you're saying, Martin.
Your little lab experiment has seen three innocent. I'm a little buzzed. Sorry. 3 innocent people killed over the past 3 days. Martin, it's not his shark. And your list makes me sick. You carry it around with you like you're keeping score.
Nature has no conscience, Mr. Burry.
Oh, Christ. Whose side are you on? You told me you'd help us get rid of it.
What I said was, I will help predict future attacks in your area. If this device works, the early warnings to other shorefront resorts, not just here, but anywhere, it ranges the world.
I don't give a crap about your worldwide conquest. What about right here? This town is going under today. Where's your humanity? You could kill this thing for us, flatten its ass, and
I'm staying at the Alibi Arms.
Hooper gathers his things, climbs into his backpack. What? Smiles at Ellen and kisses her hand.
I'm Hermione.
Ellen smiles, not recovered from embarrassment.
I really like this dinner, by the way.
He leaves. Ellen looks at her hand. She's tripping. Brody turns and sees her.
nobody kisses hands anymore. If you stick that wet spot under the...
Yeah, you said that line. You read that line, damn it. You read that line.
Say wet spot again.
If you stick that wet spot under that black light at the Coney Island Aquarium, I'll let you in for nothing.
Because he's a cop. Exterior, aboard Hooper's boat, foggy day. The boat is slicing gentle swells into the flat water. Hooper is mainlining, oh yeah, from a big reel. Tuna halibut clips attached to each of the lines that bear hooks and floats every 10 yards. Large bait chunks are tossed into the water. In the boat with him is Meadows, huddled in a corner and trying to appear eager to learn. Hooper is not cooperating. He storms around, upset and frustrated.
Okay. What's the second species of shark on your dangerous list?
Hooper opens the throttle half speed, looking into the sonar display that casts a green glow in the soupy weather. A blip appears on the screen that draws a speculative hum from Hooper.
Fish activity?
Very deep. Looks like a school. Muckle? Really clumped up together.
As the two huddle together in the green spill, Hooper touches the throttle to increase speed, still slightly puzzled.
Staying right with us.
And now we see like some sonar activity.
And didn't you say activity spot? If any of those whoppers are around?
Tends to. Get very still down there.
Now we have a close-up on Meadows, who looks up from the scope and his expression turns to horror.
Look out!
Hooper looks up in time to avert a near collision with Ben Gardner's boat. It is completely awash with water. Cockpit right up to the gunwales. Seat cushions and hatch covers float about, banging and thumping.
Wow.
The boat is wallowing, and it seems that given a touch more weight, it would sink.
Okay.
That's Ben Gardner's boat. Ben!
Hooper
Let's
comes
go.
alongside, cuts his engines, goes forward to tie his bow line to a forward cleat and on the flicker. Now we see that sonar scope, bigger blips, both visually and audibly.
Oh, geez. That's what kind of
Take-
a
It's longer, more audible. Taking note
As Zoom cuts out the audio every now and
Hooper-
again.
Hooper stands a moment trying to figure out what could have done this. It wasn't Bobby or David or Rob. There doesn't seem to be any damage fore or aft. Then he notices that one of the after cleats on the flicker has been torn away. There are no scars on the wood where the screws are used to hold the cleats down.
He must have hit something. I'm sure they had life belts on board.
Hooper nods toward the water, and so we angle that direction. We see life belts and jackets floating in the unearthly stillness. So he was right.
They did.
We see a wide shot. He gingerly steps onto the rail of the flicka, peels into the cockpit and cabin, awash, no sign of life. He puts more weight down as he cranes his neck further, and the whole boat lists to one side. Hooper leaps back to his own. Now, another angle, Hooper's boat. He opens a locker and pulls out a wetsuit and other gear.
No.
Maybe we should just tow it in.
I better see the damage first.
Blip, blip, blop, blip, 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 blop.
Word for word on the script.
Close meadows. Suddenly cold, he zips up his windbreaker, turns the collar up as Hooper zips up his wetsuit and clasps onto a weighted belt.
Did they have a dinghy on board?
2 dinghies. We both got dinghies.
I don't know.
Hooper hyperventilates as he places on his mask, checks his hot flashlight.
I'd rather just tow it in. Mr. Hooper?
Hooper finishes hyperventilating and smiles to reassure him.
BFM.
He's ready to go, but he hesitates a moment, staring out at the sea. The first time Hooper's appeared to be doubting his next move. He shakes it off, takes in a huge breath, lets out half of it, and then he splashes on in. So we angle on Meadows, all alone in the boat, just he and the active sonar. He checks the secondhand sweep of his watch, counting out loud. Now, underwater sequence, Hooper's down there. We see him descend in a froth of bubbles. Warily, he turns a full circle with his hot light. At first, we see nothing out of place about the flicka except that it is lying so low in the water. But as Hooper travels the bottom looking for damage, he comes across a jagged hole 2/3 of the way forward. The hole is about the size of a basketball, and the wood around it has been bashed and splintered. Hooper explores the hole with his hands. That's what you do with holes. Then take the knife from its sheath and begins to dig at something. Whatever it is comes free in his hand. As he studies his find, his light wanders upward, pointing directly into the dark hole. Hooper looks up. And now, close up of that hole, Ben Gardner's dead face stares out through the hole in the flicka, eyes and mouth gaping in frozen horror, his skin pinched like a prune. Now, close up on Hooper. He bumps his head, trying to get away. He seems to yell through escaping bubbles. His mask fills with water as he flails for the surface. Miscalculating, he bumps into the hull of his own boat, scrambles around it, finally coming up between the two bolts, gulping air, unable to speak yet, shocked, scared, out of breath.
Bad?
All Hooper can do is hold out his hand, open for Meadows to see. A shiny white tooth, at least 2 inches long, rests in the palm of his hand.
A white. It's a great white. I knew it. It looked like he died of fright in there.
No shark did that to a boat.
Hooper rolls up his sleeve and with one stroke of the tooth shaves all the hair off his forearm.
One this big could do anything.
Even fly. Meadows will never be the same. The interior of Vaughn's realty office, day. On the run, seeing red, Larry Vaughn speed walks out of his office. Used to be a thing. Grabbing his coat and out the door. Cuss mumbling all the way out. Meadows still in his boat. Yeah, Ramasama take a fracka, secka fracka. Yeah, it's a whole thing in the 70s. Meadows still in his boat clothing.
Like Lobo.
appears behind him, his tie undone and sweating. Vaughn jumps into his car, and just before Meadows can open the passenger door, takes off in it. Exterior shot of the island highway day. Just under the roadside billboard, Hendricks and another deputy joiner prepare for a climb with ropes in their arms, paint cans, and large canvas brushes. Beyond them, a few feet away, stand Brody and Hooper, watching Vaughn pacing back and forth, sucking on a Havana. He has a newspaper in his right hand. Hooper is sketching on a sketch pad.
It says it here. It's caught. Period.
Brody holds out the tooth.
Mr. Hooper figured its size from this. It's over a ton. It's also over.
Put that rotten thing away. Yowee.
Hooper steps over to show him the sketch.
If my hand gets infected, meet Chitardon Chitaris. What is that? What is it? Huh? What the hell? That shark that just bit you on the hand? And this is you.
Hooper has sketched the reduced ratio figure of Vaughn with cigar standing in front of the jaws. He looks like a dwarf by comparison.
17 feet from anterior to posterior. No shark grows 17 feet, for Jesus Christ's sake! The famous Swedish naturalist Linnaeus believed that the great fish that swallowed Jonah was not a whale, but a great white shark. Love to prove that, wouldn't you? Get into the National Geographic, huh?
What should we do about this weight?
Hooper has come prepared. He takes from his backpack a Bomar brain calculator and ticks away at it while talking.
The longer there's nothing much on here, the better your chances will go. That means, of course, keeping your beaches closed, your fishermen in port, and other alternatives is non-corrosive. 100 gauge steel mesh, say 3,000 feet of it around your bathing areas. Concrete blocks and installations that would run you 500,000. That is, unless you could seek a deputation from the federal government. Beats getting swallowed, doesn't it?
Vaughn is apoplectic. His seemingly dead cigar glows again. He takes Brody by the arm and leads him out of earshot of Hooper.
Maybe we could make it up in August.
That damn beach will be open on the 4th of July, damn it!
We have to give this a couple weeks.
A couple of days, and that's bad enough. I'll have to think of some reason they'll keep the grease from frying. In the meantime, I want that shark killed, excommunicated. I want him DED dead as a doornail. Do you understand me? Either do it yourself or hire a pro. Go door to door with an offer like a damn salesman. No more of this bounty crap. And Brody.
Vaughn gestures up at the billboard. The beautiful model splashing in the golden surf with the flailing arms has been significantly reinterpreted. Some pranksters have painted a huge dorsal fin cutting through the waves next to her, and she now looks like an hysterical beachgoer stampeding out of the water. The deputies begin covering it over with paint. People have been gathering throughout the scene on bicycles and a few station wagons.
First, the picket fences. And now this. I want to see these little bastards hanging up and down from their Buster Brown shoes. Do you understand me, young man?
Vaughn storms away before Brody can even reply. Now it's an exterior shot of the dock during the day. Hooper's loading some mainline floats and smelly bait fish on board. Two young longhairs are assisting him. The old harbor master dips his coffee percolator into the water and rinses it thoroughly while watching Hooper load. He rises to his feet and walks across the pier, looking in the opposite direction about 3 slips away. We angle on a hidden slip. Brody and Deputy Hendricks are supervising another loading activity. 6 local fishermen are converting their 16-foot fiberglass double outboard into a gunboat. A sealed crate of high concussion, palm-sized depth charges gingerly finds a place in the bow section, over which fishing gear and nets are positioned to disguise the mission.
Don't let him out of your sight. Not for a second. Stay at a discreet distance. And damn it, Lenny, no shark talk. The way sounds carry over water, yo, a dead giveaway. Who's with him? Local hire. I don't know. I want to hear from you, Len.
Now it's an exterior shot of that picket fence row. It's daytime. Angling down a stretch of picket fence, the little karate cries are accompanied by little flat hands piercing splintered woods. An exterior of Main Street, day. The hardware store proprietor, bored and withdrawn, suns himself on a chaise lounge surrounded by summer surplus that no one's buying, while the Amity Gift and Candle Shop is offering an outside display on carousel postcard rack of artificial shark tooth necklaces, along with an open-air gallery of shark books. A dozen tourists bunch up as business booms here today. Now it's an interior shot of Brody's office during the same day. Ellen is somehow mired behind Brody's desk, 2 travel folders in her absent-minded grasp. She talks into one phone, and at the same time she's talking on another to a breathy, ticky landlady. All of this overlapping. Brody's secretary, Polly, is in the outer office doing 3 things at once.
I don't know where my husband is, Mrs. Ketzler. He's only closed the beaches to ensure your safety. First it's 24 hours, then it's 2 days. It's one more guest of mine leaves the Cape Cod, I'll start a petition.
And outside there we hear Polly.
Until further notice. You'll have to ask him about that when he gets back. Goodbye.
Now 3 people enter, 2 of them an elderly tourist couple, push past Polly and into Brody's office where Ellen stands behind the desk.
Bonjour, excuse me. I see that in the papers they caught the killer shark, no? I see that the signs at the beaches are still closed. And we were just wondering.
I think it's a simply wonderful positive sign of our times to see a woman police chief in a nice place like
this.
Ellen removes the receiver from her ear, from which angry geese-like sounds filter through. She starts to explain, instead bursts out laughing. One of those spontaneous, funny cries for help that leaves you weak. She falls helplessly into her husband's swivel chair, covering her face with Acapulco brochures. Bam, bam, bam. The mystery of who is Martina Brody.
Yes. And with that note, again, we do want to give a quick little sponsor. Thank you to Vengeance Turns the Motion Picture for sponsoring.
Oh, yeah. Oh. We love it.
Vengeance Turns the Motion Picture. In partnership with Cabin Fever Radio, this film went from an audio podcast to the big screen. Taking place in 1876 California, starring Paula Luelmo as Rebecca Falcon, a young woman who loses everything, including her beloved husband, son, and daughter, in a violent attack that leaves her for dead. When a young man, played by Azim Vecchio as Simon Coltrane, rescues her and helps her find those walking dead men, as her lust for bloody vengeance turns her into a murderous vigilante. Starring Jamal Gardner as Jefferson Coltrane, alongside Mariah Hart as Hester Blake, and Nevin Milan as Ghost with Silent Knives Protects. Vengeance Turns the Motion Picture will be premiering in film festivals in the 2021-2022 season, but you don't have to wait till then to get your fix on the film. Visit vengeanceturns.com to check out the official trailer, as well as get your hands on limited edition merch that is available right now. A direct link to the site and store is in the description below, or simply visit vengeanceturns.com. That is vengeanceturns.com. What are you waiting for? Go check it out after the show and get yourself a poster, a shirt, a pin, some stickers, something. Bundle it up.
Do it.
And stay tuned for more, including sneak peeks of a graphic novel. What? Yes, that is right. You can check all that out at vengeanceturns.com.
Wait, hold on. What was the website?
VengeanceTurns.com.
So that was vengeanceturns.com.
VengeanceTurns.com.
Cool.
And we're going to be
VengeanceTurns.com.
revamping that website, and that's kind of really our biggest news for today is just that
Which website?
vengeanceturns.com.
Oh, vengeanceturns.
N
Okay.
G E A N
Oh my
C
God.
E T U R N S dot C
Oh my God.
M com, and before that you put in H
No, I know.
T T
I was wondering if
You're just
P dot
it's a colon. It's called a colon.
Two
and
colons.
No, he's
Side-
just gonna say dot on top of each other.
Slash.
sticks that fall over
ah.
www all caps period
You mean dot.
E N
Thank you for listening to the last Vengeance Turns podcast.
We're very high technicals on this show.
Yeah. So, to all our viewers and listeners, we are going to take a quick little intermission. It's not going to take too long because, just to be able to break the script up, we are halfway through it. We're on page 57 out of 110 on the script. And so far, it's been pretty good. Of course, we always have technical issues because, again, what live broadcast doesn't have technical issues at one point or another. But yeah, so hopefully you've been enjoying Brody. So at the end of the show, let us know who did the best Brody.
Yeah, everybody did Brody. There were 4 Brodies today.
There were 4 Brodies. Cass is still having some technical issues with her internet. I
think we literally should write
she's on the phone with the cable company trying to figure it out.
We should write a sequel to our version of Jaws now and deal with this like identity crisis, because I feel like it's very modern in that regard. Like we've got this character Brody who really is struggling with like gender identity, and I think it's very relevant, And then like there's things that when you think about it, there's things that Brody is putting his or her mate, Alan through, asking them to take on different gender identities and stuff like that. It's pretty demanding what Brody is putting people through. So
that's the best part.
There's a whole subtext beyond the shark problems in this movie, that we have injected, never existed in the original. It's really just our way of updating it, giving it a modern feel,
So we're gonna take probably like a 3 to 5 minute bio break.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sit here and ramble to people and talk to them
while
you guys do your thing. And let's see, now that both of them are gone, welcome to The Truth About David Ruano and Rob Fury Show. This is a little production that I've put together. It's a sizzling, very explosive documentary in the style of those murder shows on Netflix, where I'm going to present a lot of information, and I'm not going to try to qualify what's true and what's not true. That's up to you, the viewer. This is America 2021. So I will just put information out there to the viewers about David Ruano and Rob Fury based on what I understand to be true. And then you guys will make the determination of whether or not they are murderers. But like, for instance, if I were to tell you that right now, if somebody were to throw open the trunk on Rob Fury's car, there would be a dead body in there. Wouldn't be any big deal because no one's going to believe me. So there's nobody's going to go over to Rob's house and throw that trunk open and see the dead body in there. So it's just like one of those things. David Ruano, where's he right now? He's carving up a dead body. That's what he does during half times when we do these shows. Have I got proof? Yeah, look, they're gone. What more proof do you need? So I would spread those, not rumors. I would spread that news, that knowledge about them murdering people, I would spread that knowledge far and wide. I would let people know. But if you want to hear about Vengeance Turns, my name is Robert Christopher Smith. I wrote and directed Vengeance Turns, and it's based on a story that I wrote, and the story was inspired by a lot of different factors, but it's very cinematically influenced, let's say. The very first movie I ever saw in my life that I remember seeing in the theater was Jaws. So that was kind of the inspiration for bringing Jaws into Cabin Fever Radio. But then several movies directly influenced the actual writing of our story. And so we did, for the past 3 weeks, we also did Desperado, Kill Bill Volume 1, and Kill Bill Volume 2. So a lot of the things that Quentin Tarantino has done have influenced me and my writing, but directly influenced Vengeance Turns, specifically with the idea in Kill Bill of the female badass, that putting a badass in a movie that male or female was beside the point. They were just a super badass, but then making that character a female was decisive, you know? And so that was something that I wouldn't say I aped it from Kill Bill, because I set mine actually as a Western. If anything, I improved on what, like when Quentin Tarantino did Kill Bill, he did it like, he made it feel like a Western, but it was set in modern times.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I wanted to put ours actually in those old West times. And Desperado influenced it again, strong female character, the hitmen characters and things like that. But so we're getting ready to redo the whole website for Vengeance Turns. And right now it's just basically a real simple like Spark site using Adobe. And we're getting ready to make it something a little more sophisticated, get it prepared for that's kind of the announcement for today. It's either big news or not big news, depending on how you look at it. But
it is.
Yeah, because I want to say over the next couple of weeks, it'll expand a bit, just being this like scrolly, very simple website to being a website with compartmentalized areas. So there'll be like kind of like an archive of stuff from the past. Like people can kind of see like the history and the growth of Vengeance Turns. But then there'll be a section dedicated to news. So you can see any ongoing news stuff there. When we start getting into film festivals, we'll have a tab that is just about the film festivals and what we're in and what the progress is. And if we win any awards and things like that. We'll have a section just for the comics, and we will always be continuing to do different web comics and stuff. So there'll always be some things that are made available to our fans for free there on that website. We're always going to have free Vengeance Turns entertainment there. Woo-hoo. And then hopefully we'll inspire people to buy stuff like the graphic novel and the other stuff, you know. That's kind of the goal. So we'll see. And when David comes back, we can see what he thinks, but we can.
That's serendipitous. He's literally right there.
We can. It depends on what you guys want to do. But since we're having problems all the way around, if we want to split this and do the other half of it next week, that's fine with me. Or if we're going to finish it today, that's fine too. But I just know that we're hitting walls. So I know that's, you know.
We could, you know what? That is an idea. Do a part 1 and part 2, and when we're not like so tech gremlin-y,
yeah,
for next week. And then on top of that, we could get Brody. Yeah, like we could get Brody we'll get Brody his meds, so he won't have his schizophrenia anymore.
I can do that.
Did you just said I could read that?
What?
I thought you said I could read that instead I could did that. I was like, what?
What are you talking about?
And I've already shared the news, just basically about redoing the website. So there's really nothing too huge or earth-shattering other than that to share today, and that'll be more earth-shattering in its existence than it is in its news, you know, than it's in its announcement. So,
what are we doing?
You're so stupid. Why did you scare me like that, dude? And definitely. It's the case of we're going to be having an improv show very soon.
Yeah.
More details to come soon.
Yeah.
More details to come.
But yeah, I like the idea. We can definitely break it apart and start again next week on part 2, because this is a good middle point for sure.
Now our viewer may be upset.
Well,
I always like saying stuff like that. Our viewer, you know?
This is the best part for you guys, the viewer, because the people on the podcast won't be listening to any of this. This is how we do most of the post shows, and some of the exclusive content is the makings of, and sometimes we have to do essentially call things on the line as we go through, and it could be that we might have to. That's copywritten music. Sorry if I have to talk over it for a little bit as it continues on. That's the only thing about it. But yeah, so you want me to wrap it up how I usually wrap it up, and then we'll continue on next week?
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Hello and welcome back to our intermission side. And as always, we want to thank you for listening. We want to thank you for tuning in. We are going to pick it up next week because of some technical difficulties that we've had with some of our cast members. But again, be sure to follow Cabin Fever Radio on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and all those different platforms that I know you guys are on, and you guys are always watching on your phones and computers and whatnot. So again, cabinfeverradio.com. Thank you, Vengeance Turns, for sponsoring this episode.
Woo!
Visit vengeanceturns.com.
HTTP.
Ven
Snowman buttons.
Turns.com. And again,
/ home dot.
No, what was the other one? Falling stick.
Falling sticks.
Falling stick. And again, I want to thank Bobby for doing an amazing job doing the actions and coming in on some of the hot takes that we have to go through on improvised lines. I want to thank Rob Fury for his amazing vocals on any character that he does.
You guys so broke when I started my Vaughn. You guys did not want to stop.
I was like,
laughing.
No, Hooper.
On Hooper. I was like,
yo, I don't know where I got that voice, but I was like, you know what? I gotta just try that one time.
And that's why I put in in our chat that that I should take up Brody, because to do on that section where you would be reading Brody plus Hooper plus Vaughn.
We all went really dry on Brody though. Everybody just went really dry. Nobody really tried to do anything.
Well, because we were like, at least me anyway. I was doing more exaggerated on all the other characters,
right?
So I can keep my voice, or at least
closer to Brody's.
Closer to Brody.
And plus, Brody's more of a straight man. Yeah. Maybe we don't know. We're really honestly that's one thing we're gonna try to figure out.
We'll find out next week. And again, thank you. I am Mr. David Ruano. You have been listening to Cabin Fever Radio. Again, if you want to support the channel, go to patreon.com/Cabin Fever Radio for
Cabin Fever
our
Radio.
post show.
Cabin Fever Radio.
Which will be happening in just a little bit.
At Cabin Fever.
At Cabin Fever Radio.
Cabin Fever Radio.
You can always check us out on all podcast forums and platforms such as Apple, Spotify, and many others. Follow us on cabinfeverradio.com. And yeah.
We have an internet website.
Thank you for listening. Ba 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 da dum ba